There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X is proud to bring to you the Disney podcast of the century, the tag team champions of the world. Oh, good echo on that one.
That nice intro. That was good.
Well, I gotta have the good intro because we're the Disney Idiots. We're the idiots, so you don't have to be, because it's WrestleMania season.
It is definitely WrestleMania. In fact, Wheel of Fortune this week was having a show about it's all wrestling leading up to WrestleMania. Well, the person at the very end, whoever gets the grand prize, gets to pick a pay-per-view where they're choosing.
And
it could be Mania.
How come you guys didn't enter in Wheel of Fortune to be contestants?
I have tried to be a Wheel of Fortune contestant multiple times.
Did you see the one for the Star Wars theme that they're doing? I don't know when they're filming it, but I got an email from Pat and Vanna White saying about, signing up to be are you a Star Wars fan? And so I went to fill out the application. Dude, they went into so much detail.
I've applied multiple times. And so
I cannot get over the questions they asked. Like they wanted like in-depth personal questions. Like what was, this was one question for the Star Wars contestant. They asked, when were you first introduced to Star Wars? I'm like a kid? Like, I don't know. How am I supposed to answer this?
Because that's exactly what you're supposed to. TV shows love that. That's why I have been tossing around the idea of actually putting an application for the Circle, but I'm going to wait for a very big reason, but it will happen one day. But yeah, a lot of these shows, that's what they want. They want that story. They want that on TV. And who are you? I've been watching Wheel of Fortune forever. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was able to crawl.
Yeah.
I remember watching Wheel of Fortune, sitting in my grandfather's house, watching it on the TV, and where we lived, Wheel of Fortune was second, and it should always be second. Anywhere that puts it first is wrong.
Albany. At the lake. First. I'm like, this is bull. Jeopardy is supposed to be on now.
Yeah. But, it doesn't surprise me because, like, when Liz and I were on The Price is Right, before we actually got into the theater, whatever they call it out in California, they interviewed, like, we were all in line, and they actually had, like, a talent manager, like, interviewing every person in line and just asking basic questions, like, how long you've been watching Price is Right? Like, what's your favorite? Like, simple questions. Yeah. But, like, and of course, I kind of shot myself in the foot because at the time I was working for Sleepy's Mattress Firm. And, of course, my answer was, like, I work in retail, so I know what beds cost. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, did I just lose myself as, like, possibly as a contestant on this game show?
Yes or no, or just the opposite. They want you on because they want to hope you fumble. Oh, but Brian, you said you worked. This was golden for you.
Yeah. But that would be my luck, like playing Plinko and, like, winning a bedroom set. Like, oh, yay. Like, that's not why I came onto the show, but I'll win a bedroom set.
You got to play Plinko. I mean, that's.
I never got to play anything. I mean,
I know, but I'm saying if you got to play Plinko, be like, I got to play Plinko. That's why.
That's true. I just want to play the Swiss Alps mountain climb.
That's a good one.
Just hear the yodeler. That was fun, though. That was fun being part of the Price is Right. Just being in the atmosphere and talking to Drew Carey in between takes was kind of cool.
Being in the room where it happened.
What's that?
Being in the room where it happened.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens sometimes.
So, what's big, Dozer? What's going on with Desantis?
Something going on. Yeah, I hear there's something going on with a Reedy something.
Yeah, what's going on down south in Reedy Creek District here?
Maybe Ali Sheedy?
Not too much, DeSantis thinks they were going to give him the keys to the kingdom easily, and, they had a bunch of lawyers write up a contract that essentially lets them pave the roads, and that's about it until the last of the living descendants of King Charles dies.
Mm-hmm.
21 years after that.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I like it. It gives a little flair to what's going on.
It's a win for Disney.
Disney never lost.
No, and honestly, and here's the thing. This was definitely in the cards before Bob Iger came back in, because clearly, the company knew about what DeSantis was going to do down there in Reedy Creek, and they probably knew Bob Chapek wasn't going to do anything.
I don't think Bob had was in the discussions for what to do. Well, he was in the discussions. It wasn't his decision not to do anything. They planned it all because they put up a fight up front. That's a big showing.
Yeah.
Now you're just fighting. Now you're just fighting with the government. You do this. Now you just got one over. Like, there was no fight. They just won.
It's simple.
There would be a fight now, but
they didn't fight much after the initial fight. That initial fight was to buy time. Because these things, they have contingent. This is Disney. People want to talk winning and losing. This is a multi-billion-dollar company here, people. They have contingency plans, a backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan. And when that backup plan fails, good thing we have 5 more backup plans ready to go. They have baggies ready. Pick a plan, any plan.
Yeah.
Surprise me.
Yeah.
Baggies with those big blue Disney bags that just cover yourself.
Crack it open. Crack it open. What's in the blind? What's in this blind box?
You know what bags I'm talking about, those gift bags that you leave at the World at Disney, walking around in 90-degree temperature, putting in your car and going, why is my hands all blue?
Yeah.
Used to.
Those were the days.
Oh,
Another day closer to having to buy all your bags at Disney.
The good old days when Disney was like, the memories. Now it's just like, my wallet.
Oh, it was your wallet back then.
True. But we were kids. We didn't buy anything. Our parents bought that.
we didn't see it. Now we see, oh my.
We see the truth. But yeah, I mean, this was definitely a big win for Disney, and they kind of just made DeSantis look like a fool. But initially, they made him
I wouldn't even say they made him look like a fool. They just said, this is how we're, come on.
Yeah.
Everybody here.
Well, and not only that too, but it's like when he passed the bill, it was like, it's almost like Bob Iger sat down with DeSantis behind closed doors before this whole thing happened and said, look, this is how it's going to go down. We're going to make you win the state over by signing this bill, by doing X, Y, and Z. But what you don't realize is we're doing A, B, and C.
This is all. Remember, DeSantis is playing a long political game.
Oh my God.
He doesn't care what happens here. This is a political game to him. And for Disney, they're the biggest employer in the state. No matter what, this was going to work out in their favor. And not to mention Fifth Gate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know we don't keep no one. I know it's not announced, but like, come on. We all know this is actually happening behind scenes. Yeah. This is all plays into it.
And it was written into the contract.
Well,
it's in there.
Yeah,
a fifth gate and 2 smaller gates are in there.
Yeah, this is happening. Dozier called it right away. Why would you move all of your Imagineers, huh?
Yeah,
maybe you want them close to the central big project, the biggest project you've done in forever. Come on.
And I'll tell you what. I mean, we're going. I'm shooting for the blue sky here, but if Disney wants to win the hearts back of the hardcore fans like us, they gotta build the true Epcot, Walt's Vision Epcot. I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm shooting way out here.
Can you imagine if they tried to build Walt's Epcot with DeSantis in control? They are trying to build this communist utopia in Florida.
Hey, DeSantis is making everybody live in the 1950s and, making
they can't, Brian, but that's the problem. They can't build it. You know why they can't build Walt's Epcot? They can't build anything that has capacity, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
Prove me wrong, Disney.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
What would be a fifth gate? Let's brainstorm here. If you guys were in charge of a fifth gate, what what kind of thing would you do? What kind would it be? All IPs? Would you guys do something? What would you do? Because clearly, it seems like all 4 parks now are becoming one giant Magic Kingdom. Everything's becoming Disney-fied. Like Epcot is not what it used to be.
Well, but that's because the times that are changing and IP sells. Because you don't have such a small pop, unfortunately, IP sells. That's just the truth. Disney has this, and you know what? Watch what they're doing, Brian. Things that weren't IP, they're just making IP. Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Big Thunder Mountain. We're just making them IPs.
I guess
we're getting rid of the ones that don't belong. Sorry, I love you, Splash. I'm sorry, Splash Mountain. I miss you, and
I guess my question though is like looking at the parks overseas. Like you have this big Frozen attraction that they're building, right? You know, you got the brand new Beauty and the Beast that's opening up. Like they have all of these like big
Beauty and the Beast, Tangled, Peter Pan, Arendelle.
Right. So would that be the 5th? Like, do you think they would bring those lands over into a 5th park to make
no? I think you're going to have a more. One thing I think is for sure, I without a doubt, there's going to be a teen element at play here, a villain's area of some sort. You're going to have a teen element in play here, 100%. We may see more live action IP come into play.
I hate to say this because it pains me to say it, but as Bruce always says, you gotta. I can't even get the quote right now, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's going to be like Epic Universe.
Well, see, that's that. I mean,
borrows, genius steals, I believe is what you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's all a given. We're going to get these mini, like, it's going to be a giant hub and spoke like Epic Universe. We're going to get these, you know, Galaxy's Edge size, if not larger size lands, well themed to different Disney films. But I guess the question is like, would you do something like Magic Kingdom where you have 5 different lands, but they're all based off of like 5 different movies that are all themed to like Tomorrowland, Adventureland, you know, that kind of stuff, but it's one film land? Or would you guys do like, what do you have in mind?
It purely depends on what we're looking at. So there's a tough way of saying this without it making it be Fantasyland, but there will be one land that will be pure princesses.
Sure.
You're going to have princess and family friendly. I think you're truly going to have a land that is, what's that island? You've seen the Descendants. Help me, Dozer.
Isle of the Lost.
Thank you. I thought I was going to say Island of Lost Souls, but I guess that was accurate. You're going to have a villain section, I believe. I think you're going to have a more teen element in one section. Not the whole park, but one section is going to have a teen element. I think you're going to have other of the big movies. They're going to have room to expand. I think this is also going to be a physically large property here because I think they're as much as I just made fun of them for it, I think they may. I might be giving them credit here. I think maybe they're starting to realize having an infrastructure for future growth is possibly a good idea.
So, what I'm going to say, and now keep in mind, my screen has shit the bed. I can't see what anything's going on, so just keep that in mind whenever I make a weird gesture. But,
Brian, he can't see us. Make faces in 5, 4, 3. Sorry, go.
I was gonna flip the bird. I was gonna flip the bird.
I knew he was gonna do that.
But God damn it, I lost my own train of thought here.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I did that.
Go on with whatever, because I lost it. It's gone. It ain't coming back.
I'm sorry, buddy. That's my fault. I take full blame for that.
All right. Well, let me ask a question on top of my previous question.
Oh, I remember. I'm not losing it this time.
All right, go ahead.
This will be the largest theme park if you cut out Kilimanjaro safaris.
Fact.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be bigger than anybody can picture. I think it's going to be truly massive.
Now,
it will be massive enough that if Epcot has 2 entrances, this will have 3 entrances.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel, back of the park, front of the park.
I'm thinking hotel, back to the park, front of the park.
2 hotels.
I'm telling you, if Epic's building 3, they're building 2 attached, minimum.
Now, let me ask you this. Whatever happened to Josh and Bob talking about like fifth park not in the cards right now. We want to focus on,
Smokes mirrors.
the 4 parks and like so the whole Blue Sky Beyond Big Thunder is gonna just be a fifth park.
It's no, not that blue. That still may be a project happening, but I think this has been. Remember, this has been happening for a long. This isn't just. This has been happening for such a long time. But what I said, they realize. I think, I think they're probably building that Big Thunder expand. They're realizing we are maxed. We have to take out to put in. In fact, we can't do things with something like Peter Pan because we're stuck with this shit.
Yeah.
We are maxed. We have to plan better for the future.
So, what I think is happening and is going to happen is we will still get some Beyond Big Thunder, but I don't think it'll be what we saw. What we're going to get is, because there was that comment that the notes on that have been received, that people are all very receptive to the villains land and these lands they proposed for the Beyond Big Thunder. And I think we're going to get a great movie ride effect here, where they sat and went, why are we limiting ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those will become the basis of the new park. We will get a Beyond Big Thunder that'll be more Magic Kingdom-y, maybe a little bit more in theme to keep it more coherent, because that was not coherent what they were pitching there.
I could see this. If they do a Beyond Big Thunder, they are probably going to do either Encanto or Coco. They'll probably just put one attraction in to kind of, or two, because they're both in the South.
I'm saying the second one. They're probably gonna be. I only say Coco because somehow, like I said, they're making a stage musical out of Coco.
Yeah.
They seem to be doubling down on Coco. I don't know why. I think it can. I guess the part of the thing with Encanto is you can have a land, but your biggest attraction's that house.
Here's my issue with Coco, and I mean, you guys can agree or disagree with me on this.
I controversially don't care for the movie. I think it's a subpar
Me neither.
plot.
Me neither.
I like the cast. Visually is fantastic. I just think the plot itself was subpar.
I can agree with you on that, but here's my take. So they took away Maelstrom and they created Norway as a fictional land, as Arendelle with Frozen. And they used the whole inspiration of Norway. Okay, I get it. Then they bring in Ratatouille to Paris. Why, for the love of God, can we not just change the River of Time Mexico boat ride into a Coco themed attraction? You already have the Coco walkthrough in the beginning for Day of the Dead.
I'm guessing maybe they don't want to touch Three Caballeros. It also just again, infrastructure.
Every time I go on Three Caballeros, there are cardboard cutouts at the end.
Honestly,
I've only seen the animatronics once since.
Frankly, I think you certainly could do Coco there, but to me, you'd have to take out the rest. You have to take San Angelo in. If you're going to change Coco, you have to gut the. To me, if you're going to make Coco, you have to gut the entire building because what there's But yeah, I do. The infrastructure you have there is not enough for a attraction like Coco. I think you'd be better off to gut it and just do if you're kind of like I originally thought my problem with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now, again, of course they're going to do. Who am I kidding? Of course they're going to do it right. I think if you don't gut it, it's going to look half-assed and it's going to be considered offensive these days and age. I hate to say it like that, but my favorite thing I like about the movie Coco is it's so visually spectacular. I think you just got to start over from scratch. Also, if you're doing Coco, and now it's going to start pulling in a crowd. Now you don't have the queue and everything for it. That's what I'm saying. You're better off to, at this point, say,
just gut the whole building.
I love this pavilion. We're gutting it to do bright. Call somebody from Mexico and we want to do this again, but do it very right for you using Coco. That I think they could do, but I only say Coco because they seem to be in love with it. Obviously, Encanto would be a huge land, but like I just said, it all goes back to the house where Coco you can do a lot with.
Yeah.
You have a lot of settings you can use. Also, Gabriel Iglesias can be a voice because more Gabriel Iglesias is just better for the world. There, I said.
See, here's my problem, and I'm going back to the Beyond Big Thunder project. So You know, you could kind of have it be the progression. You're starting in Texas, American Southwest, you go to Mexico, you go to Colombia. But even if you have those lands back to back, we're stupid Americans. Too many of us think that Encanto's in Mexico to begin with.
Which is actually Colombia, I want to say, or Venezuela.
Colombia.
Well, that's what I thought.
They're Colombian.
So I don't think we need to add to that confusion. I heard more than one kid in the Mexico Pavilion say, "Where's Encanto?" And I really wanted to go, different country.
Yeah.
Kid, I get they don't really. Do they even address it? I don't think they make it clear enough in the movie. Because I also don't think. I truly just think kids don't understand. I think you have kids who don't understand.
Parents were reinforcing it. That was the problem.
Okay, because I don't think you have kids who realize. Wait a minute, Mexico's not here. We're not. It's all that far away.
This is sort of, I don't know. This might be borderline racist, but
go for it.
What if now, if there's unlimited spending caps here, this is just thinking outside the box. All right, Mexico Pavilion, you have Coco. Next door, somehow they build a house for Encanto, and it's presented by Folgers, Colombian coffee, presented by Folgers.
I mean, I actually like that idea of having a fun house attraction again because the house is the best. It's all magical.
Yeah,
it's the cellar. I like the idea of having a walk through old-fashioned fun house.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they have an outdoor water attraction from
you can build a giant facade, then walk in. We are, by the way, put a pin in that. We're coming back about those other Moana plans. I'm sure you guys saw. Put a pin in that. We're coming back to that.
We'll come back. We're in the Epcot. We're in Epcot right now. We'll circle the future world. We're in World Showcase right now.
Yeah, but that with Encanto, I love that idea. Make it because you can build a giant facade for the house on the outside and have multiple pathways for people to walk in at the same. You can again build 3 identical houses on the inside. You could make it real. I think that's a great idea.
I've always, ever since they've been starting, like I'm all for IPs in the parks. Don't get me wrong, because Disney's got a massive library. And don't even get me started with the Mary Poppins attraction. We've already had that discussion first.
Oh no, we also have to. Oh no, put a pin in that kid. Oh, Dozer's gone for a second.
Dozer's gone.
Dozer's gone.
No, you know what?
Dozer's gone.
We'll start Mary Poppins. We'll just talk about Mary Poppins right now.
Okay, folks. I don't know if you saw out there, but the more likely canceled, possibly just postponed attraction.
Oh, it's canceled. It's canceled. No one's gonna ride this.
The Mary Poppins attraction they wanted to build.
It's an insult. It's an absolute insult to the movie.
Folks, it was. They said to Cherry Tree Lane, it was literally going to be a teacup attraction. It was just going to be spinning teacups with a wild theme. Now, on the outside, the horse race was going to happen. Things were going to happen in there. It was going to be a well-themed teacups, but it was just going to be glorified teacups because there's nothing screams cheap-ass Chapek more than cheap-ass ride system.
Well, and it's not even really the teacups. My personal issue with this attraction is that you have, I'll put it to you this way. There are 2 major all right. I have a lot. I should have wrote my notes. I should have wrote this in notes because I have a lot to talk about this ride.
Oh boy.
There are 2 iconic characters from the Walt Disney Corporation that I feel up until recently, I feel have gotten stooped with some sort of an attraction to the point where even it's like, look, we've gone this far with not having an attraction for these characters that it makes them more legendary in that sense. So those 2 characters are Mickey Mouse and Mary Poppins.
Ugh.
You know, for the company is 100 years old this year. Up until last year, Mickey Mouse had no ride. He had an attraction, but he did not have a ride based off of him.
A ride-based attraction.
Right. Mary Poppins was the same thing. You know, the only time that we had Mary Poppins in something was the Great Movie Ride. And I felt like it was a nice homage, but you have a film as classic as Mary Poppins. Say what you will about the movie, but it is such an iconic piece of history for the Disney Corporation that, you know, you would have thought that years ago Walt would have had something in the park for Mary Poppins. Clearly, either whether or not he did or didn't, we will never know. But the idea that Bob decided to basically sell the shit out of the queue over the ride is an absolute insult to not just the parks, but the movie itself, because the ride wasn't even based off of Julie Andrews' Mary Poppins. It was based off of the Emily Blunt sequel that had mixed reviews that people actually.
Oh my God, the return! Oh my,
you didn't know this?
I didn't know that.
the whole ride
It's so stupid.
Was based off of Emily Blunt's Mary Poppins. So this is how the whole ride was going to work. They were going to retheme. We got the Wheel of Death. Is he back?
He's coming back. You just keep going.
Okay.
He's coming back.
All right. So initially they were going to right where the and I knew exactly where it was too. In London, that back grassy knoll area where the gazebo is, back behind like the shops and all that stuff, where the live band, like where the Beatles tribute band would play.
Yeah.
Okay, that was all going to be gutted.
Yeah, I knew that's where it was going to be.
That made sense. And they were going to build the ride right there. So what they were going to do was all the buildings that are circling that little grassy knoll area was going to be Cherry Tree Lane. And from the outside, you got to see Admiral Boone's house. You got to see 17, like the neighborhood. So you walk into 17 Cherry Tree Lane and you get to relive the iconic house. And then you go to the and this is where I'm like, no. You go into the living room where the fireplace is, and they have the china bowl on top of the fireplace. And somehow with Disney magic, they were going to make the bowl spin, and the fireplace would be the Enchanted Tales with Belle, where the fireplace opens up into a door portal that you walk through into a fucking soundstage with an indoor teacup, but you're on a giant porcelain bowl. It was the Royal Ball, that song. Yeah. They were going to play that song, but they were going to have, and this is, it gets better. The backdrop, cutouts of the cartoon characters.
Oh my God. See, they were trying to sell it as it's going to be a really interactive backdrop. Oh my.
It was basically a 2D cutout of all the characters in the background. They would play that one song at the Royal Ball, and they would have everything look 2D, but you were in a 3D world.
I mean, I like the idea of a
and with all but they would have you would walk into the stage because it was an indoor spinning teacup ride. So when you're in there, it's like basically a sound stage, and they have all these lights beaming down on the ride. It just takes it out of the with the teacups at Disney and Disneyland, Walt Disney World. It's outside, so you're walking. You're like, oh, what's that? You see it.
But on top of that, but just as you said here, it's out. I like the idea of having an indoor, even if it was any kind of magic carpet Dumbo attraction. It could be any kind of. I'm not to say that it should have been that at all, but there's any kind of smaller attraction I'm fine with, and I like the idea of having it inside and well themed. But the issue with having a teacup like that, what if I waited in this whole line, had no idea, I get in, and it's my kid don't like the teacups.
Yeah.
I don't like the teacups.
Yeah.
My kid won't go on. I just waited. And also she just deserves better. Despite I don't care for I'm not a huge Julie Andrews fan. I know, blasphemy, and I don't care for the movie that much. I know, blasphemy. Throw stones at your will, people.
But Emily Blunt,
I respect that it's a hit. I respect what they did on it. I respect that it exists. And the character, everything deserves better. Julie Andrews deserves better. And it deserves to be her version that's seen. Because I understand that Emily Blunt is new and that you have a younger audience who may connect to that, but not the old one. But it's a classic for a reason. Yeah. And Mary Poppins is so integral to Disney, it only makes sense.
And
something better.
And nothing against Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, but if I were to pick, if I had to nitpick at that ride, I am not a fan of this new animation style that Disney's doing with their cartoon characters. They honestly freak me out. It's not. You know what I mean? Like
I wish it was the classic, but that's what they're doing with the cartoon.
I know, and that's what
That's
I'm
the
saying.
problem.
Like the ride, I love the ride.
Because the kids who are watching the cartoons now, I think they should have done the 3D ones, but I guess maybe it was easier to animate the heads. But that's it, right? I don't actually mind it. It was a little weird at first, but they have a new game coming, Island of Illusion, which it has all the characters in it, but it's again in that art style. That's what they want to do. So I understand how you feel, and I agree with you. But I mean, unfortunately, it is what's going to be.
Now, I will say this. Since Disneyland brought their Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway to the parks, they need to get rid of the one in Hollywood Studios or relocate it or something, because it just does not fit at the Chinese theater. They built that brand new El Capitan theater.
Yeah.
The queue is nuts. It's so cool. It has all of this Mickey, it fits. It freaking fits.
Also,
the second one is always better.
It is true. They can work at the kinks. Also, sidebar, part of that queue, so popular, find your Power Lime taffy bars all over Epcot now.
Yeah, I know.
The fact that
they brought back Max in the Power Line outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Or can we just say it right now? Even though it's coming back, not altered in any means, they said Rock and Roller Coaster is coming back to it. They didn't change it at all. But can we all just, talk about the 500-pound elephant in the room and pretty much say, when are we getting a Power Line Rock and Roller Coaster?
Soon.
That's what I'm saying, because they're just dabbing these little hints around. Like,
here's the thing. It's an IP you own. You don't have to worry about it. You
and
don't have to pay a contract for it.
So my guess is here's what happened. They came up, they went, okay, we can do Power Line. We're not going to be able to get that up by summer season. Shit. Roll this back out. We'll take it down after the Christmas season. We'll put in Power Line and we'll be back up for summer season again.
Smart idea. You should take Rockin' down for something like that after Tiana opens.
Yes. Completely agree.
Tron was building because I don't think you want to have those two huge attractions at their parks not there, especially during the summer.
Yeah.
People don't realize the amount of lineage that is going to be increased by not having the juggernaut of a capacity machine at Splash.
Now let me ask you this: with their virtual queue system, they're still only doing one at a time, right? So like when Tron opens up fully, Mission or Cosmic Rewind will just be. Whoa! There's too many dozers.
More again. I want all the Beetlejuices.
Oh my God! I'm literally.
These idiots. Tonight's episode. Why there's so many dozers?
Double the dozer.
Double the fun. Double dozer go.
I need to explain. Not only did my computer shit the bed, my internet shit the bed, and I had to go reboot that.
Oh,
we spared you from the Mary Poppins ranch.
Yeah,
I heard some of it.
I will say this: if I created a Mary Poppins attraction, I'm going old school. I'm doing a carousel, Jolly Holiday, hands down. I mean, that's like, you want to talk about an iconic part of the movie, right there. And this is where it gets creative. You think you're on a carousel at first,
and then you fly away.
Bingo!
Mm-hmm. I see the queue already. When you walk in, you think you're getting on a carousel, moving around. Woo!
Because like the horse is like, it looks like they come in like a carousel, and you get on the horse, and then like it's like, I don't want to compare it like to Peter Pan, but it would definitely be some sort of a dark ride where it looks like you get on a carousel. It's themed to Jolly Holiday, interactive queue galore, all this stuff, and then you go through the dark ride and you relive greatest moments of Mary Poppins. Be on the rooftop, you hear Step in Time, like the classics, the absolute classic hits.
I know how this is gonna sound, so like, I get it. I already know. I already hear it. No, it's the movie, but done in the Jolly Holiday, in the Step in Time, in the carousel world. It's the movie redone in an animated art style like that.
Ooh, and call it Step in Time with Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins, A Step Through Time. You're welcome.
There you go.
Yours wasn't bad, but I had that locked and ready.
And we'll put it in the 5th park. That'll be one of the lands.
I love it. What sucks, I love the idea of having a Mary Poppins attraction in England. They need something over there.
I know. That or Winnie the Pooh. I mean, if they want to relocate Winnie the Pooh attraction from Fantasyland over in London, I'm all right with that.
But what would you take out of London? There's not much space there.
You could probably re-theme London, frankly.
Actually, Winnie the Pooh spinning honey barrels?
Ooh, there you go.
You call it spinning honey barrels, and it's not a teacup.
They're honey.
No, it's 2 tilt-a-whirls.
Oh, ooh.
Tilt-a-whirls are less scary and heavily themed in the 100-acre wood.
And they can just do it in the back by the gazebo. They can just gut that whole out.
Again, have it outside, or again, I love the idea of a super themed in the building.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, you can make 100-acre woods indoors.
Two Disney tilt-a-whirls. You could even probably build 2 machines aside. Who knows? Disney can figure that out.
I mean, I personally wouldn't ride it. I'll get sick off the tilt-a-whirl.
Well, a tilt-a-whirl is the ride that had me the most green in the history of me. They have just lubed that tilt-a-whirl up. It was super fast. But I like where you're going, Bruce. But I am going to take Disney technology and the imagination of these Imagineers up a step. We're going to go 3 tilt-a-whirls.
Woohoo! I like this.
Ooh.
And we're going to link them all.
Oh.
Like the swinging
yeah.
Oh, that I like.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
You can make a mechanic as it goes to built-in spin. Oh man, that would be sweet. The other idea I had was a Himalaya, but that's a little too intense for Winnie the Pooh.
I like
Heffalumps and woozles.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be.
Hey, there's an instant Halloween overlay. I'm just saying, heavily themed. You can do the outside with screens. Really, just make it nice. Again, I'm thinking super screens, projections. You can, or make it like a scrim type of thing. You never know what character is going to pop up or say something.
I like that. I like that idea. Disney, you listening? Are you listening, Bob? Are you tuning into this? We have some great ideas.
We're giving you gold. We're not asking for anything in return.
Just free season passes
and a Gravity Falls attraction.
Oh my god! Okay,
I thought for a while if they could convince Alec Hirsch to come back and play ball, they would make a Gravity Falls attraction that would just be kick fucking ass.
All right, so let me ask you this. So looking at Epic Universe, we have Universal Monsters, we have Super Nintendo,
How to Train Your Dragon,
Harry Potter.
Confirmed, by the way. All sorts of How to Train Your Dragon names were trademarked.
Am I missing?
Universal Monsters ones were trademarked.
I saw that. Am I missing anything, or is it just the
original? No, yeah, that's all we know right now.
The space generic.
The space generic, and I think that's all we know. There could be one there. I think there might be one more. I think it's one of those but somehow they're keeping that under wraps.
Okay, so going off the 4, what I hate for Disney to basically compare themselves to an Epic Universe, but it seems like we're kind of going that route. So out of those 4 lands, if Disney does an Epic Universe, what would you think the 4
Illusion Land?
Well,
you just had an idea. No, you just did it. Video game to Master Nintendo, Illusion Land, based it off the video games, the Island of Illusion of the Disney, based off the Illusion Land.
Holy shit! Like Epic Mickey.
Epic Mickey, make it like Epic Mickey. You could is different.
No,
you could have it in there.
I got it. The Play Pavilion. The Play Pavilion that was canceled at Epcot. That could totally be something at. Oh my god! Okay,
I'm just saying that's an idea right there. Did you have a video game again? If you want to match apples to apples, just into your theory, Illusion Land.
Okay, so we
Or
got
something like
that
that.
one. Obviously, villains would be compared to the Universal monsters. So, what would be the Harry Potter and the How to Train Your Dragon?
Harry Potter's the Princess Land.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be. They wouldn't double down on Star Wars. You think they wouldn't do something?
No.
Okay,
Your older audience themed was taken by villains.
true.
Also Star Wars could always be an addition, but we're also, if you notice, we're picking things that can in theory be replaced or have things in them replaced. Because Star Wars is kind of locked in. I think whatever they build here, they want the ability. Galaxy's Edge is a permanent installation that's never going anywhere, but because they haven't really done it too much, I think they kind of want to lock it in. But if they do Star Wars, that could also be based on like Clone Wars animation or something.
Well, I was thinking something on the lines of like Mandalorian. Because
that's possible. I shouldn't say that. Then that's possible
because you have him now appearing at the marketplace, but that's the only place that he can meet up with people for photo ops because of the timing, like the timeline. They don't want to interfere with him walking to the Resistance and him going to the First Order.
I could see them having a Mandalorian section. You could even have it in. Because if it doesn't work out, you can make it a Western section easily.
Just call it Filoni Land. Just do Rebels, Clone Wars, and Mandalorian. I mean, just give Filoni a small piece of land to tell his story.
Ahsoka's Warriors, the attraction?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we're getting all this like great Star Wars content lately. I don't know if you guys have been watching Mandalorian, but my God, this season's fantastic.
I haven't watched yet.
I mean, it's making me want to rewatch Rebels. That's how good this season is. They are just dropping Rebels references left and right. I mean,
I haven't watched Rebels and I haven't watched Mandalorian. I've been other things I have to get through.
So I have a question here, and I need you smarter Star Wars people. How long after the Mandalorian does the Force Awakens happen?
So you're wondering. So where we are right now in season 3, you want to know how much longer till we get to Force Awakens?
Yeah.
We're about 10 to 15 years.
I was going to say 7 to 9, but yeah, I guess 10 would be 10 to 15.
Because right now, if you remember in season 2, they were just building the Jedi Temple that Kylo destroyed in the flashback scenes with Luke.
So what I'm hearing is Mando doesn't survive the Mandalorian.
Not necessarily. There has been heavy talks with Lucasfilm right now, where this show, yes, is going to bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. However, Favreau is looking to the future, where he's envisioning the characters from this show past Rise of Skywalker. So they want to eventually finish the show to tie into Force Awakens, and then the next show that they're already kind of working on is in the far off future, where we get an older Grogu, where we get to see if Mando is still alive. Like, we get to see the aftermath of Rise of Skywalker with the characters in The Mandalorian. And that, I'm thinking to myself, this show can go anywhere. I mean, clearly, like, they kind of like are sort of kind of leading us in these directions in this season, but then like all of a sudden they change the path. Like, I still think here, my prediction.
If you guys want to talk about it, you're not going to spoil it for me. You know how I feel.
I'm not going to spoil it, but here's my prediction. I think Grogu is going to be the leader of the Mandalorian at some point. Like, they want us to believe that Bo is going to be the next one because of what happens in the show, but part of me keeps falling back to the first Mandalorian with the dark saber and how he was half a Jedi. And I think with Grogu, kind of,
he's going to bridge the gap. He's going to be a Jedi Mando again.
Exactly. I think he is sort of like the second coming to bring these clans together in unity.
I've been saying that since we got the Darksaber story.
Yeah, I think little Grogu. We may not see it in this show, but
definitely not in this show. The Darksaber's still as big as him.
But but we may end up seeing something possibly with a Daisy Ridley, Grogu, something down the line. We're talking like after Bob Iger leaves, and even after his replacement's gone. I mean, even after Kathleen Kennedy resigns, this is like something in the books that I'm pretty sure Filoni and Favreau are going to start taking over Lucasfilm, because what they're giving us is gold. Oh, absolute gold. Cannot wait for Ahsoka.
They have I'm excited for that. They have a system and it works.
And here's my other prediction too, based off of how more specifically how this season's going. This season is going to end, and Ahsoka is going to start, and then Ahsoka is going to be an Ahsoka show up until the halfway point, and then it's going to be Mandalorian 3.5, where he teams up with Ahsoka. It's going to be Book of Boba Fett all over again.
Ugh.
I'm telling you that.
I hate the Book of Boba Fett.
Because what they're
the Book of Boba Fett.
I loved it. That what Favreau is basically bringing a little taste of Marvel, and Filoni is bringing his toys, and together they are creating this giant universe where everything is connected, and we are going to get the biggest, like, grandest, absolute, possibly a blockbuster finale. I could even foresee all of these shows leading up to a big 2.5-hour Star Wars movie.
That would make sense.
It makes sense.
Written and directed by Jon Favreau. Calling it right now.
It's very long. Not to be Star Trek here. That's logical, Captain.
Written by Jon Favreau.
And Dave Filoni. And executive produced by Dave Filoni, George Lucas, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau.
Put Spielberg on there too. Why not?
And Kathleen Kennedy. They will all be executive producers.
I'm giving you a different director. Who has directed the best episodes of The Mandalorian? Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
That'd be.
Yeah.
That is Mojust right there.
I was gonna say Taquita
People would love that.
I was gonna say Watiti, but no, you're right. Bryce Dallas Howard does have the best. Yeah.
Not him. Never him.
Ragnarok was not bad.
I loved Ragnarok. I really liked Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi is a jackass. He's never the answer. He just happens to be for these two movies.
He is not a Star Wars guy.
No. You're right.
But
Bryce Dallas, that would be.
He looked at Natalie Portman and told her she should be in or asked her why she wasn't in a Star Wars film.
Oh my God.
Legitimately, on set, to her face.
In which, if I was her, I'd be like,
She was. Apparently she was like, yeah, I was.
3 of them.
You're kidding me, right?
1/3 of the franchise here. Hello.
Pretty much.
That's why you do not trust part of your big franchise finale to this man.
Yeah, give it to Howard.
Give it to Bryce Dallas Howard.
And hell,
no,
why
not nepotism not nepotism there. She earned this.
While we're at it, why don't we just add Ron Howard to the executive producer list?
No nepotism. She earns this.
She does. No, she does. She's definitely.
She has made her own path. Might have had to help getting the foot in the door, but she did it. Longevity speaks for itself.
You know, I'm surprised she never decided to like make a small cameo or have a role in a Star Wars film. She was very much. I mean, which I'm all for with her behind the camera, but with her, she's a great actress too.
She is, but she may say, "I'm a fan. I want to stay objective about this, or I want to make this best possible for the fans. I don't want to think about myself here. Pull myself out of it completely." I could see her being I'm at nose to the grind here.
Well, that's why Kevin.
If it goes on long enough, they keep her around. They might put her in.
I mean, that's why like people ask Kevin Smith all the time, like, Kev, why don't you do a Marvel film? Kev, why you do a Star Wars film? There's 2 reasons. One, he wants to be a fan and just enjoys the film. But more specifically, and the real answer is that he doesn't want to be someone else controlling him and saying, this is how we want it done. Because like he's very creative.
That's not how Kevin Smith works.
Yeah.
So there are only certain characters that would work for how he would do a movie.
Well, and he talks about whenever he directed a few episodes of The Flash or even like Supergirl, he's like, yeah, I had fun on set because all I did was sit behind a camera and yelled action to let everyone do their thing because, like, I was just there as just a credibility, pretty much. He's like, the TV show, the writers on those shows, they're in control. They know what's going on. They just bring us on as like a director of the week, so to speak.
And the actors know their characters.
Exactly. So like that's why Kevin will never do like a Star Wars or a Marvel film, because he's like, the company is just like, I don't want. He just doesn't like corporate. He doesn't like corporate America.
I could see him doing if it came up enough, him a possible cameo. But if he's going to cameo, he's going to cameo DC because he's written DC comics for.
Or if anything, Favreau throws him the bone and says, "Hey, you want to direct an episode of Mandalorian?"
I would say directing. I would say he'd be better off being because it's more Kevin Smith style.
Yeah.
I love it. I'd like to be in it as a cameo. I'm a fan, and I want to stay that way.
I could totally tolerate the Kevin Smith cameo being the new Marvel thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Be the new Stan Lee.
He's lovable. Yo, people love him. No one can say something bad about him.
No.
You may not like his stuff, but it's not like, oh, I don't like. He's likable.
I mean,
just imagine Silent Bob standing anywhere.
Oh no, I have a great idea for a cameo of Silent Bob.
Galaxy.
Well, I mean, you can throw Silent Bob in almost any like Disney film. I mean, hell, it's Miramax that was owned by Disney at one point.
They should make random cuts with him in the background of things.
Well, I was just thinking like doing something very like creative and like, oh, that's cute. Have two droids. Have like a protocol droid be like Jay, and then the like the R2 Ash, yeah, and then have like Silent Bob. Like B0B or whatever, like as
808.
Yeah, 808
or
is like
808 a bottle, codename Silent.
Exactly. So like the droid doesn't talk at all. And like the protocol droid is like Jay, and it's like Jay doing the voice of a C-3PO style character. So it's like Snoochie Moochies.
Come on, you always can open your mouth to say that stupid Amy story, the license plate. Oh God. One of my favorite moments when his pop speaks. The license plate.
And then like to really throw like the second like 1-2 punch, have Dante and Randall be aliens that work at a convenience store on a planet, and it gets attacked by like Imperials or something, and then Dante's character goes, "I'm not even supposed to be here today."
Look, at the end of the day, all we're doing is they're not running a convenience store. They're running a cantina.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I'm not even supposed to be here today. Jay and Silent Bob are outside. They try to go, and we don't serve your kind here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
That's
your droids can't serve them here. Just do, you know what? Even they should. You know how?
Fuck it. I want to view askew. Star Wars.
Just do a special. Just have Favreau just do a special, like what they do at the Werewolf at Midnight, like the
No. I want it more like the Family Guy Blue Harvest specials. I want straight up view askew universe
into Star Wars retell. Well, if that's the case,
you could have a lot of fun with that.
Oh my God! I mean, you could clearly have at one point you could do like a Randall as like a Luke Skywalker and Dante as a Ghost Force Obi-Wan Kenobi style Jedi, like kind of mentoring him or something like that.
Star Wars X crossover with VeggieTales.
Brody's Han Solo.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, hands down, bro. Yeah. You could absolutely get this could work.
A lot of things. You could really make this work.
Next time if I run into Kevin Smith, next time I run into him, I'm going to definitely pitch this, be like, yo, 3 of us have an idea. We want your input. Hypothetically speaking, if Filoni and or Favreau,
come on, Kev.
It's like, hey, if Filoni and or Favreau approached and said, hey, we want to do a trilogy Blue Harvest-esque special, but in the View Askew universe, would you write and direct it?
Featuring you.
We'll
What do you say?
We'll just slap our names on it as credibility. You know, it doesn't have to be on Disney Plus. It could be a direct to DVD. Hell, it could be. You could show it at your Smodcastle Cinema. We'll make a premiere out of it. You know, like people could dress up as Star Wars characters. It's just a View Askew special trilogy in this. And the thing is, it would be like they would also talk about Star Wars in the Star Wars special.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just like how they do in Clerks about, like, you know, the contractors on the Death Star. Like, in the special, they could actually have contractors working on the Death Star. Are you supposed to be here today? Nope. That's Dante's cameo. He's a contractor on the space.
He just looks up, just, nope. People would see the face, go freaking nuts.
Nope.
Nope. And then
Yeah.
he says nope, and it blows up.
Or like, oh, seriously?
He'd look up, and there would just be people would be going throwing popcorn.
It's like,
screaming.
or like, or like he's in the Death Star and it's exploding and all this stuff because you know that they're in the trench run and stuff's firing. He's like, I'm not even supposed to be here. He doesn't even finish the sentence. He goes, I'm not even supposed to be here. And then the space station blows up. We all get the joke. We know what he was going to say.
Everyone would get it.
All they have to do is just put the characters in scenes in the original film. Like, they could just crop shots of the old Star Wars film, and they just do this, like, scene for scene reshoot where it's like they look like they were there, but they really weren't. Oh my God, yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
It'll never happen, but I like
It will never happen. Never happen.
It's nice to dream.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun. It would sort of be Spaceballs-esque. Like, it would have to be on the same level as Spaceballs. I mean, the whole idea where they're like...
So it's on Hulu.
Speaking of which, have you guys watched that?
First 4 episodes.
I haven't watched it. It's on my to-do list.
What did you think, Dozer?
I love it, but at the same time, like, it's clearly the movie just chopped into parts.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I can deal without the episodes. Just give it to me as one continuous.
Yeah.
There are some sketches where I'm like, eh.
Have we had the musical number yet?
Oh, every episode has a musical number, my friend.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, every episode has a musical number. It's fantastic.
I didn't know that. I mean...
Hey, I said no repeats.
That's right. Bruce, I think, was it the first episode or was it the second? I think it had to be the first. Mel Brooks he's the narrator of this, and he's talking about how, like, you know, it's been like 40 years since the first film and we finally got it, and I promise you it's all new material. There's nothing in here that you never
repeats.
No repeats. So then the one segment goes, Hitler on ice.
I said no repeats.
And he goes, I said no repeats. But what they do though is hysterical. So in the beginning of the sketch, they show the original clip of Hitler on ice. But then the next thing they do is they continue the scene. So that's Nick Kroll, Wanda Sykes, and I forget the other guy's name. But they're commenting on this, like judges at like the Olympics.
Sykes, having Wanda Sykes there is delicious.
At the Olympics,
she's in like half the skits.
Yeah,
oh, that's fantastic.
Her and Nick Kroll, I think, steal the show.
I mean, it's Wanda Sykes and Nick Kroll. I mean, come on.
Well, and there's another guy too. I forget the actor's name, but if you see him, you're like, oh, I've seen him in, like, he's a comedian, like, he's funny. But like, Wanda Sykes plays Harriet Tubman. That was hysterical because how did the skit go? Oh,
because they're in the Civil War.
Yeah, I know. So the problem that I have with the show is that, like, it's not like the movie where it's just one timeline and it goes through history. Like, it literally starts at one point and then the next episode it's like previously on the Civil War. It's like they jump all over the place. It's not chronological. But you're right. So these 3 Union soldiers are trying to rescue Ulysses S. Grant, and they come across Harriet Tubman. And the Underground Railroad, this is where I lost it. the Underground Railroad is literally an underground subway station.
Oh my god.
So these soldiers are walking through the station. Harriet Tubman comes out with a shotgun. And they're like, holy shit, it's Harriet Tubman. And she's like, pay up, motherfuckers. She's like, wait, I thought the Underground Railroad was for slaves. She's like, yeah, black people, it's free. You white folks, you got to pay up. So the black soldier goes, so I get it. He goes, I'm half black. Can I get a discount? He's like, nope.
Oh my gosh, I gotta watch this.
It's so funny. I mean, like, there whole like, wasn't Seth Rogen? I think Seth Rogen made a cameo. Like, there's
a lot
there's
of
a
cameos.
lot of celebrity cameos in this. I mean, like to me, I think Mel Brooks is like, hey, look, I'm not getting any younger, and I gotta, continue on my legacy and pass on to the next generation. That's pretty much this show. Like, this show was what I like about it is that, like, it's still the old Mel Brooks. I mean, there's so many Blazing Saddle references in the show. It's not even funny. Like, I mean, it is.
That's the Mel Brooks style.
I mean, it's so many Blazing Saddles references. Mainly in the Civil War. It's that time period. I mean, so he still is like doing his same shtick all these years, but his comedy is being presented to today's performers. So it's like it's modernizing Mel Brooks humor. So they have to tweak it a little bit for today's.
They tweak standards. It for today's audience, but they make it work for the classic style.
When you read between the lines, well, and with us growing up with Mel Brooks, like watching this, you're like, I get it. Like, today's kids probably won't get that joke because it might be slightly insulting, but I got it. That's his like. There's these.
The only thing I did not like is when he told too much of the future.
Yes.
This is, and we're here in the Civil War. The first Civil War, not the Civil War coming in 2024.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn it, we're cursed.
Yeah. Like, there was a lot of those cards. Yeah, a lot of those cards being dropped. Yeah. And he's got to be like, what, his 90s?
90s.
No, he's definitely in his 90s. I think he's like 93 or 94 at this point.
Disney, call him up, give him that Mel Brooks haunted attraction, haunted hotel. Just, retheme Tower of Terror and give us the Mel Brooks attraction. I want to see that. I really do.
It just shows you how much brined meats can preserve your life.
Mm-hmm. Oi!
Yeah.
Oh, the Jewish meat seller.
Oh my God, I'm trying to remember some. The Jewish meat seller, David Kroll. Oh my God. He was so funny in that role. What was it? Oh, wait, Jack Black plays Joseph Stalin.
I did hear about that. I know he's Stalin. I know Josh Gad is Shakespeare.
Oh my God, that was it. Joe, did you watch that one? Did you see that scene? Oh my God, that was hysterical. I lost it. I absolutely lost it. Where he's William Shakespeare, but he has a writing room with all of these other writers coming up with ideas that he basically says, I don't like that. Or he goes, I got a better idea, and just re-says what the one writer said. And he's like, I'm William Shakespeare. I get the... Yeah.
Yeah, because I know about that from the Something Rotten people were saying, it's basically our show, fuck you.
Pretty much.
They're like, yes, thanks. We gave you this idea. You're welcome.
Yeah.
No credit, really.
Yeah, and like the idea that this came from Hulu, out of all places, Hulu picked up. I was like, you know what? Like, Hulu's starting to get some, like, I started watching MODOK. That show's fantastic.
Oh my God. I'm so upset we will never get a season 2, so it ends at a giant cliffhanger.
I'm only 2 episodes in, but like,
you're gonna love it. It's fantastic through and through, and I really, it ends at a cliffhanger, and I really wanted more. I'm so upset they canceled it. I hope Patton Oswalt can get them to reconsider.
Well, yeah, and did you know what Kevin Smith was going to? So this was going to be like a Marvel universe for Hulu.
Yeah, I know Kevin Smith. Yeah.
Did you hear what he was going to do?
Wasn't he Howard the Duck?
Yeah. With Seth Green. With Seth Green.
I was like,
as
I'm
the-
pretty sure there was a Howard the Duck got.
But-
That's what happened. Howard the Duck got canceled first. It was in production and stopped, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, Monarch's not coming back."
But
either.
like what they were gonna, it was all gonna be 2D animation. It was gonna be strictly like an adult cartoon, sort of like Family Guy or like Bob's Burgers, that kind of like
yeah,
style. It was not gonna be CGI. It wasn't gonna be 3D. It wasn't gonna be like. It was completely 2D adult cartoon. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh
I know.
God.
Robbed. How? Why let us know? Why tell us?
But we got
I know it
we
existed
got
for a moment.
we got Masters of the Universe out of it though. I mean, have you guys watched that on Netflix?
No.
He-Man.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Look,
Now-
I'm up to date on like 2 shows and movies. I'm like,
That's
that's
true.
ahead of my
I
time.
just watched Chucky season 2.
Well, speaking of Chucky, what's going on with Universal there with Bruce?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'll see you all in the fog. That's right. We have our preview merchandise that came out. The dates are here. It is not an all-month Horror Nights in October like we look like, but almost basically only Mondays and Tuesdays through both months are. And one random blackout date of like right before or on Halloween.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, okay, buyout much? And who bought that one out? Damn. But we got our dates, merchandise is out there, early tagline, see you in the fog.
Now,
And speaking of fog, with this, we had announcement videos, 2 different of them. Both we saw fog rising up on a black background, a strange looking symbols that would appear on the screen. The first one said, "The legend is real." The second one said, "Welcome to my playground." Now, where I'm going with this, upon our announcement, we also have confirmation of 10 houses, so not the 11 that was rumored, 10 houses, multiple, I think they said 2 shows or multiple shows, 5 scare zones, the works. It's been heavily rumored in recent days, and the cipher on the one Horror Nights teaser site was put out. It's looking like it is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. Cross your fingers, because you know if they're doing this, 1, talk the mega house of the year.
oh
Holy
my
shit.
God. Yeah.
And 2, you know it's gonna be freaking frightening.
I just want at some point to kind of play an homage, if it is what they say it is. I want a jump scare. It could be an animatronic. It could just be an homage. I want something with Tim Curry's it. Just like a little, like, the
They
clown.
may not be able to do that. You might be able to have something static in the background, possibly, because it's a Horror Nights, but they still have final say when they walk through. And they may say, no, this has to be this movie.
Well, I thought, wasn't there there was an I think at the Warner Brothers studio lot in California? I know out on the West Coast there was like
but that was the Warner Brothers tour they did that year. That's something completely different. This is
True.
Horror Nights.
Well,
now.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Now the movies have been out in a huge hit.
Yeah,
That I think only part 1 was out. I don't think part 2 had come out yet.
true. You're
So
right.
it really
you're
hadn't reached its full potential to be a hit. That's why I hope you're right. With this Horror Nights crew, I know they have a costume that looks a hell of a lot like it, and they love to reuse things. It's entirely possible we get something like that, even just a statue somewhere, but I wouldn't expect something major. Get out from there. Sorry.
But it's tasty. Oh, I'm going back in.
Yeah, he is.
How cool would it be if we actually got a Stephen King house? Like, not just it.
I've been
like,
hoping for that for a while, for something based on the mix in the movies. I mean, we obviously we had The Shining before, even though King's not a fan.
Yeah, but I was thinking more lines of like deep cuts. Like,
No, I actually
like-
think it would be great
like-
to have it based on his stories themselves. Take the Nightmares and Dreamscape short stories.
Yeah.
You can have all sorts of real fun things.
even like Dreamcatcher. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking like just little small rooms, just like one-off rooms in the
Yeah,
Stephen King house.
Dreamcatcher, that's another one of it. That's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's the same kind of anthology.
Like
I think
short-
you could do that whole thing.
like short stories, like Secret Window, Secret Garden, or like oh god, well, not Cujo, but like you know what I mean, like just little like homages.
Yeah, no,
like
you can do Cujo. I love it. I think that'd be fantastic. You know, the story like they did with Poe, the Madness of Poe.
yeah,
You know, the terror of Stephen King.
Well, I'm just thinking the show Crystal Rock on Hulu, how like everything is sort of like, you know what I mean? Like not the show
Castle
Crystal
Rock.
Castle Rock. That's
yes.
Castle Rock. But
Now
you know
I
what I
know what
mean?
you're talking about, Dozer.
I don't want a Stephen King house. What I want is a Stephen King attraction that is in the vein of the Murder, She Wrote attraction.
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah. That
Base it around a horror instead of her suspense murder thriller style.
I like that. I think that would do real well.
And I have another one. Now, this is a temporary attraction. This goes up with Horror Nights, but is an all-day house.
go on.
It's kind of like a free preview house.
Yeah.
It's a little toned down because you want it to be all ages here.
Sure.
Goosebumps.
I was thinking that. I was exactly I was thinking I was on the same level of what you were just thinking.
It's funny, that has been rumored with Gremlins more than once now, so it's very clear that's an idea they've had. But yeah, Goosebumps, that would be good.
Well, a teaser house, you have it open all day.
Yep. Horrorland.
And maybe, just maybe here, I'm gonna kind of veer off here, because you could probably work this to make it happen during the day. It's the free preview Goosebumps house.
Mm-hmm.
At night, Fear Street.
Oh, I like it.
I don't know how.
I like it. I like it.
You could use one soundstage, have one soundstage be Fear Street, and have the same entrance, and just flip the signs.
Yeah.
I like
you
it.
Could, because I think having that with the same setting, you'd have an issue depending on how much it would limit the stories you could do from Stephen King. Like Horrorland would be out, or you could have it where it's an overlay of each. You could mix it in. It's not impossible. Or it's Horror Nights I'm talking about. They actually could build something that stages that rotate using the same pattern, but that's too into detail. That's going off of the idea they did for the Ghostbusters of moving the building two sets to, instead of having a long in loadout for Dana in the chair, there's two identical sets, just slide them over.
I just think that way you could have it be at night but be scarier.
It's good. I think you could. I think we just use the same thing and just have it. It's okay. We're veering this way. This is the adult section.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I love that idea a lot, actually. It really, because Fear Street is something, again, that people have been clamoring for now. I love that plan.
Let me ask you this. Going off the Goosebumps Fear Street, couldn't they actually have both attractions open during the day as well? Because that way you can sort of have it like Mission Space where you can choose how intense of a house you want to go.
Now you're pushing things. Now you have a lot of extra scare actors you have to have. You also have that thing running all day.
True.
So you have it's now you're pushing even the effects in the house. They can come for Nights or Horror Nights. Those effects need a ton of maintenance. They get beat up in the 2 months they build them for. Yeah. Now maybe if it's going to be a permanent structure every year, you could do that, but even then, it's got to be able to change. I think that it would have to be toned down on some of those effects.
Do you think that's why they're doing the thing out in Universal? That they wanted to do a year-round haunted attraction at the theme park? What?
Walking Dead ended.
No. I'm talking about Las Vegas. The reason why they're building.
Oh yes.
Like, do you think that's the reason why they're building the year-round attraction out there versus doing it in the parks year-round? Because of like crowd control and costly and all this stuff?
If you've noticed, this came out with the Texas park announcement. There's something bigger at plan here, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's about buying off part of Six Flags, like we mentioned.
Yeah, I could see that.
They're clearly doing something bigger here. I think they also realize there's a market in Vegas for this.
Oh, yeah.
If you do it right, you can have things there a lot. it could come into play with that. They don't want to have it at the parks, but still people have to go there separately. I think it just goes in. They're clearly building some kind of ecosystem here that they want to go coast to coast.
Because I think the Walking Dead attraction was sort of like, to me, it felt like it was their way of like testing the waters to see how a year round
they've been clamoring it for so long, and I think you would have tested with the smaller market that's only that don't have too many visitors for it necessarily, versus Orlando, which has a lot more. Well, we're here for this because we're doing Disney and Harry Potter.
Because I was just like what you were saying about Gremlins. I'm like, oh man, that would be a really cool year-round haunt where it would be sort of it's a movie. It doesn't have to be a ride, but it's an attraction that's Universal, Steven Spielberg. You know,
that's an idea I've had of having an addition to the horror makeup show. In the magic of do something of Horror Nights show, where we sit down and explain. And now we're going to walk through a mini house that has two sides to it: lights on, lights off. Action.
I'm surprised they never. That actually does bother me.
Because we do the unmasking the horror, but because it's something you'd have to have a short installment, but it has to be something you would. If you change it out, you could easily change Gremlins out to another theme without costing a big budget. Gremlins is timeless and it's back now.
But like
Gremlins 3 possibly coming. It just makes sense to have something that anybody could do. Gremlins is more family friendly. And when we show you with the lights on, okay, this isn't so bad. Now the lights come off. Now it's a real time.
I was just thinking of the show in general. I'm like, you're right. I'm surprised they never even talked about Halloween Horror Nights in the horror makeup show.
They do mention it.
When?
Horror Nights is mentioned briefly. And we also use this at our Halloween Horror Nights. This is one of the effects we do here at Halloween Horror Nights. Because that's why they have Jack and the caretaker out in the lobby.
That makes sense. But I wish they actually would do more, like, not educational, but I don't know.
That goes back to the magic of the movie. Ride the movie.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. And remember, the Alfred Hitchcock, it wasn't, you didn't have to be in it. It was about making the movie.
It was behind the scenes. It was behind the scenes.
That's why the horror makeup show has always been there. That's why it's still there. How long has that been there for a reason?
And they need to update that.
And that's why my Stephen King thing would work.
Yeah. Yeah, it would. I mean, I have always thought of, Escape from Horrorland as like something in Universal, whether it be like an overall, I mean, it's a bit much if Goosebumps was like the main theme for Halloween Horror Nights one year, but even if Goosebumps is somehow in Halloween Horror Nights, whether it be, fierce.
Again, it has been rumored.
Yeah.
I could see. So with Universal opening a third gate, I would not be surprised if, and we're getting too logistically big in the grand scheme of things. But if they had the big horror night, the big adult horror night, and then the family-friendly horror night.
You mean Halloween Horror Light?
Yes.
There you go.
Where you would put some of these franchises that are scary, but could be not as scary.
Same thing with spooky. It's a step up. And then next year, honestly, that's where you can put Gremlins. Then you can have hey guys, we have our PG, more friendly, maybe lower price because we're trying to do it a little cheaper. And we have where the big boys play.
Yeah. And that's where you could have the things that you see at some places like the whistles or the stop, and they just stop.
Yeah.
You can do shit like that in the Halloween Horror Light.
Yeah.
Though I wouldn't call it that. You don't want a kid to think they're getting a watered down version.
No. It would be like
Halloween Horror for Tykes.
Halloween Haunt Night.
I like that. Something simple. Like Halloween. I want to say trick or treat night because that seems too kid friendly.
Halloween, not so scary Halloween Horror Nights.
I'm pretty sure Disney somehow has a copyright on Not So
Oh, I'm
Scary.
sure they do.
Yeah, but not Universal's less than scary Horror Nights.
Less than Scary Horror Nights, yeah.
But then Richard Scary gets involved.
Why don't they just call it Universal Halloween Nights? Just do like Universal Halloween Nights or Universal.
Remember, we have to find something that's not trademarked.
Or Universal Family Fall Nights? Because it's in the fall, Family Fall Nights?
No,
Instead of Family Fun?
we're sounding too Cedar Fair Park.
I know.
Country bumpkin.
I'm thinking two generic terms. Yeah, but I you're right. I think Universal will come up with something for the family, not just for the teenage
I don't know.
to adults.
I say that, but at the same time, that's not their target demographic.
True.
They know what prints money here, and they've gotten away with having PG-13 with scary stuff, and it's working.
Now, do you think they're gonna test the Epic Universe to see if they do a Halloween Horror Nights over there, or are they just gonna stick to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios?
Right now, it's kind of built and designed where it has to be here. That's where it's working. It's not impossible because it depends on how Epic's performing.
Yeah.
Islands got it because it was underperforming, and people criticized them when they moved it over there. But Islands at that time was underperforming. Oh my gosh, it's going to ruin it, and it's going to be a bust. Made the most money ever. People fucking loved it still. It didn't matter. That's when it became clear to Universal. It doesn't matter where, how, or what. They love Horror Nights, and we got them coming forever, baby.
Yeah, and with Universal Monsters, I hope they do something Halloween Horror Nights related Epic Universe, especially in that land. I mean,
it's possible we have something like that, but again, it all depends on how Epic's performing.
Yeah.
And knowing Universal, it'll be very clear as they're starting to finish things and structures get done and aerial views. If you see some random backstage things that just don't look like they belong, then your answer is, oh, they're planning to host Horror Nights here, I see.
Well,
I honestly think Epic Universe is the more likely home for Halloween Horror Light.
Yeah. Well, and not only that too, but if you guys have seen recent aerial shots or just first of all, I can't get over how fast this park is building. I mean, they are like literally doubling down. It's insane. But I have found out from people who work for the company that there's been heavy talks because the buildings are already built, that all of the backstage employees' offices will be relocated to Epic Universe because they've already built the backstage buildings. So all of the costume for the entire company, everyone is relocating to Epic Universe for these big stages that they're building for all backdoor, costumes, makeup, everything. Not just for Epic Universe, for the entire resort is moving. So, which means we got land, baby. We got land at Universal. We got lands at Islands.
I think I want to be the very best that no one ever was.
So
if they're building DreamWorks, I'm putting dollars to donuts. Pokemon's going to make its grand appearance, not in Japan as expected, but right here in Orlando.
Well, and there's also heavy talks that the Lost Continent will become Zelda.
Oh, I gave up on that with the money they actually poured in Poseidon Adventure.
I know.
They've refurbished this twice now. Why? But I don't.
It's still there?
Yeah.
And I honestly.
And Mythos is a hot restaurant. I mean, I can never get reservations for that place.
It truly
Mythos
is.
has been like one of the best restaurants and theme parks for years, though.
Yeah.
Like since it opened.
So I can't imagine them basically saying, we're going to get rid of this and put Zelda. It's like, what are you going to replace Mythos with?
Honestly, you could still make it work. You can make it you could just keep it Mythos because it works with Zelda most of the time.
Well, we'll just chop out Lost Continent more. We'll just make it smaller again. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll just build Hyrule.
Frankly,
we'll have Hyrule Castle and a restaurant. There you go. There's Zelda.
I would think more if you're going to do something different at Islands. If Zelda belongs anywhere, it belongs beside Mario and DK.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Keep Nintendo all in one central hub. Don't.
Even though I've started arguing they shouldn't do Zelda. Zelda, I've started arguing they should do something more adult like Metroid.
I still think Super Smash Brothers. Just saying.
I think Super Smash Brothers could be a land in another park, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Where that's, just we'll have this over someplace else. More family friendly.
That's what you would build at the Texas park, where you could have one land that you could kind of get everybody in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a regional park idea.
Ooh, even better. Now, I mean, we have to get really big moolah for this one. Give me a GoldenEye attraction. I want to relive my heyday.
God, no. God, no.
I want to relive
Don't touch that Bond license. Do not touch that Bond license.
Some way, Pikmin would be a high likelihood to be an area.
Oh, no, I was just thinking of the game. I was just thinking of the game of somehow bringing the multiplayer to real life and picking up the hat and be an odd job and throw the hat. I mean, hey, look, we got the augmented reality with Mario Kart. I'm sure they can find some way to bring the GoldenEye game to life.
Yeah, but I don't think they would touch something like that. Right now, it's all Nintendo specifically.
That's true. What they could do is just like have a 2-floor warehouse bunker and they just give us paintball guns and shoot at each other.
Okay, Brian. Nintendo has so little right to GoldenEye, though.
I know.
Yeah, that's something it never would be.
I know, it would never happen. Never happen.
You've got the GoldenEye problem. You've got the Rare problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rare's not as much of a problem as you might think.
Oh, I don't think
those
it's that big
two
of a
are
problem.
very. Oh, it was, but those two are very chummy these days.
Well, Donkey Kong was Rare, wasn't it?
Donkey
but he was their character
by Nintendo. Rare, but Donkey Kong Country.
Right.
That's why in the new games, King K. Rool has been absent. So when they announced, that's why it was truly astonishing when they announced K. Rool for Smash Brothers. It was Rare's letting you do this. Oh, yeah. They're willing to play ball all across the board. Cool.
K. Rool is theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, it's owned by Microsoft and not Sony, so.
And Microsoft loves to play ball these days.
Halo.
No. Halo would make a better haunt house than an attraction in any way, shape, or form.
I'm all right with that. Just something Halo related. I don't care what it is.
No, I do not need the flood in real life. No, thank you.
Halo Flood Assault.
Oh my God, Arbiter's just jumping out at you left there. Oh, that would be so cool.
It would be fun.
Which, by the way, I think the end of season 2, season 3 is going to be the pinnacle of the Halo show.
Yeah.
When season 2 come out?
I don't know, but
not soon enough.
The second that the flood appear.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's when the flood are going to first appear?
So, it all depends when we get to the ring. We're getting closer. But I think the season 2 cliffhanger might be the Jenkins moment.
Okay, that would be no bullshit. No, thank you. That would just be too good a freaking cliffhanger. You can't make people wait on that. That would be excellent.
Shit. Like, he just, you see the Jenkins helmet, you see him put it on.
Credits.
The black.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my theory for season 2 of Last of Us, because I'm pretty far in the game right now, and I kind of foresee how season 2 is going to end.
Where are we? And first, have we gotten to the Infernal Aquarium?
Yes.
You know why I say that, don't you?
Yes.
I swear to every deity there is. If they make me look at this on my TV screen for the season, I'm going to do it. But Naughty Dog, I won't be happy.
Season 3. That would be in season 3. No, season 2 is going to be the biggest cliffhanger in the video game, where you're like, where does the story go now?
The theater? The movie theater?
Wait, I'm trying to remember the movie theater.
Movie, Brian, the movie theater.
Yes.
Does that give you enough of a hint?
Yes.
Ape Arms.
Yeah. I don't know. The game. Oh god, that game is fantastic.
So good, dude. You're gonna. Can't wait for you to get to the end of this. I can't wait for you to get to the end of this. There's so much we could talk about. Oh my god, the things, the feelings. The crying.
I mean, the show writes itself just by playing the second video game because
They said this is going to deviate more and have bigger changes, but I still think it's going to hit those beats, and that's why I'm thinking we are going to go. I thought you could do this a couple of different ways. I think we're going to go down the line. End of season 2 is the theater. Season 3 is then the this other side, the conclusion, and the Yep.
And I'm still saying it right now. Brie Larson as Abby. Just calling it right now. I mean, especially now that she's basically saying after Marvel's, she's done with Marvel. I'm like, okay, somebody offered her a nice paycheck for a nice role. Because nobody walks away from Marvel.
There's already a poster with a forearm.
Nobody walks away from Marvel, especially only being for like 3 or 4 movies.
She's got something. But she does a lot of indie stuff too, so that could be
True.
something else. I think she'd be great, but the reason I think Brie Larson is because of Captain Marvel. Brie Larson's a good pick because of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She was. Remember the controversy? She didn't deserve it all. She got. You need if whoever they cast as Abby has to be able to handle what's going to come at her.
Yeah.
It's going to restart what happened and. God bless that voice actress for even wanting to be in the show.
Yeah.
Because, Lord Almighty, that poor lady got actual death threats, people. Actual factual death threats for voicing in a video game. She was that convincing.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to find someone who's willing to go down that path mentally to
really, this could also boom your career through the roof.
True. I mean, I'm not saying that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Negan, but you got to have someone that big to be like a badass.
It's going to make somebody. If you cast a nobody, it'll be great because they're going to be a star, but they're going to fight their way to it.
That's the other thing too. Cast a no name. Give a no name like some credibility and see what they have, and not actually have the name behind the person to sell tickets, so to speak, for viewers rather to tune in. Just find somebody that's a talented actress who will just blow us out of the water and be like, yep, that's it.
Physique is more than anything else. That's the biggest thing is the physique.
Because nothing against Pedro Pascal. I mean, yeah, I think he's definitely becoming a bigger name. But, like, he's not as big as other celebrities out there, I feel. Like,
his name is hot now and gotten hotter, but he's been around for a very long time.
Sure. Oh my God. Yeah.
He's a testament to it only takes one thing. Mandalorian just skyrocketed him.
I mean, he talks about how his first role was on Law and Order.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mandalorian definitely put him on the map. But before Mandalorian, I mean, he wasn't really big, so to speak. So that's what I'm saying. Like, find someone who's somewhat known, but make this role skyrocket their career. Like, that's how I feel. Pedro Pascal with Mandalorian. Yeah. Like, they casted him.
Somebody who's this is their moment. This is your moment to move forward.
Yeah.
So, Bella Ramsey was already around, but this is really this. I would argue this because Bella Ramsey was around, but she wouldn't necessarily be a full household name. Oh, Bella Ramsey's the household name now. Probably going to win a couple of awards.
What about Ronda Rousey? How's her acting? Because last time I saw her act was in Expendables.
She could do it because Abby isn't necessarily the most hard to act the character.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, even Ronda Rousey, someone like that.
Ronda Rousey would be perfect physically. She actually looks like Abby, just dyed the hair. Put a wig. You would just keep the hair the same, and Abby's now not a blonde. Either way.
Yeah. That show's so good. Game's so good. Oh, God. I texted my buddy, Nick, and I was like, yo, because he loves Walking Dead. He loves zombie stuff. And I was like, yo, you guys got to watch Last of Us. And he's like, did they make a video game out of it? I'm like, no. Video game came out first. 2 video games came out first before the show. And I'm like, this show is so superior to Walking Dead. I mean, it just writing, story, character, everything. Like it's amazing how a show can come off of material off of 2 video games, not off of a book series, not off of comic books, off of 2 video games, giving us this like grand show. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thank God for Naughty Dog and thank God for Uncharted.
Thank God for what?
Thank God for Naughty Dog and Uncharted.
Ah,
Makes sense to me.
yep.
We wouldn't be here without them. Uncharted 2, when Uncharted 2 blew up, I'm waiting for Jasper. When Uncharted 2 blew up, that's with that story, and then Uncharted 3 that's what gave them the confidence to create The Last of Us. After Uncharted 2, they said, we can make something bigger and better. Yeah. I have an idea. And without this, that propelled them in The Last of Us. And The Last of Us is what I consider that I kind of lumped them both together in part 1 and 2. Well, their story here, but these might be some of the greatest games of all time ever that will ever be made. The marriage of gameplay and story, and just I know Brian, I know you didn't play the original version, but the difference between the very first Last of Us to when part 2 came out, just the game mechanics, the clickers in part 1 were hard, but you could kind of sneak by them. As you experience with this one, the remaster, you make a slight movement, they were on you. It was the first time I'm sitting there, I'm like, when did this game get this hard? Jesus.
Yeah, and I was playing the first game on super easy too. Yeah. Absolute super easy. And I'm like, I cannot for the life of me. And I finally got through. And I was like, I'm going to beat the hell out of this game.
It doesn't change the clicker's pattern at all. It just changes how easy you are to kill. It just makes it harder to kill. It's the only difference. The clickers all have the same AI.
Yeah.
There's less of them is the big deal.
So.
Oh, my.
Also, let me know when you get to the hospital.
I will let you know.
Somebody's going to die.
Oh, this is the scariest. This is the scariest boss of the damn games.
Oh shit!
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's a battle that needs to be done on screen in season 3 because it's going to be visually amazing.
But I am going to have to cut us short because I need to go to.
I got to work tomorrow, so I got to get off for it too.
Yep. But you know what? This has been a wonderful episode, and we'll see what the Attorney General has in plans for Disney because he's requested documents relating to the last minute.
This should be
approval.
Good. This should be really good.
I am fairly certain Disney has dotted their I's and crossed their T's.
It's Disney.
Yeah.
So I just want to remind y'all, we're the idiots.
So you don't
have to be.
Toodaloo.